The car body is qualitatively treated with anti-corrosion materials, so rotten Audi Q7 is a rarity. But the paintwork has a drawback. In places of chips and damage, the paint, over time, begins to climb a large pieces. Once in 3-4 years, the button fails in the door handles. It only changes when assembled with the handle. It happens that the optics lose their tightness and begin to fog up, and LEDs often fail. The main problem with headlights is that they are often stolen due to their high cost. The cost of a new headlight is about $1,000. The battery is located under the driver's seat, and it is better to contact the service to replace it. The fact is that even if you replace it yourself, you still have to go to the dealer to register it in the control unit. In the secondary market, among gasoline engines, the 4.2 engine is most widely used. As operating experience has shown, this power unit rarely presents unpleasant surprises to its owners. When buying a car with a mileage of more than 100,000 km, listen to how a cold engine works. If you hear a ringing sound or a diesel rumble, this means that it's time to change the time and drive. On average, the chain needs to be replaced every 200,000 km. Replacing a chain at a dealer is not a cheap pleasure, about $3,000. In a garage service station, they will ask for half as much. The 3.6 engine is considered the most optimal, both in terms of fuel consumption and reliability. The weak point of this power unit is the ignition coils, fail every 70–80,000 km. The timing chain stretches closer to 200,000 km. It is worth noting that 4 chains are installed here, and in order to replace them, it is necessary to remove the engine. Most diesel engines have problems with the reliability of the injection pump, which manifested itself quite early, at a range of 80–120,000 km. After failure, the fuel pump starts to drive chips into the fuel system. As a result, it is necessary to change all its elements and flush the gas tank. For the owners, this became an unpleasant surprise, since the entire repair in the official service costs $10,000. It can be kept within $5,000. Many owners eliminated this drawback under warranty. Be sure to check the service history of the car before buying. The 4.2 engine proved to be the most problem-free among diesel engines. No global recurrent problems were identified during the entire period of operation. Owners of the first cars with diesel engines note problems with intake manifold, oil seals leaking and oil dipstick squeezing out. TFSI engines, unfortunately, are not very reliable. The main problems are added to the increased oil consumption, which appears in cars with a mileage of 50,000 km or more. Depending on the mileage, additional consumption can range from 0.5 liters to 1.5 liters per 1,000 km. Dealers claim that on cars manufactured after 2014, the problem with increased oil consumption has been solved. It will live up to 200,000 km. A replacement will cost $2,000. Approximately 200–250,000 km fuel injectors exhaust their resource. For the replacement on each one, you will have to pay $200. Often, owners of the Audi Q7 are faced with failures of the electronic engine control unit. The main reason for its failure is poor contacts and moisture that enters in through a cork in the upper part of the case, which is designed for ventilation. After 100,000 km, many cars require a starter replacement to 400 cu. This problem is more relevant for cars with diesel power units. Before changing the starter, carefully check the wiring, as it often rots. As a result, the starter may not work. Power units before the restyled Audi Q7 were combined with a 6-speed automatic transmission. After restyling in 2010, all cars began to be equipped with an 8-speed automatic. As experience has shown, the transmission in the car is quite reliable. Sometimes sealing gum can leak. Because of this, the contacts close. This trouble is manifested by jerks in the box during switching. Replacing electrical harnesses with gaskets will cost $300. And this is a penny compared to repairing the box, so you should not delay replacing them. Also, do not delay the replacement of the misted oil seal, which is located between the box and the engine. If it starts to fog up, it must be urgently replaced to prevent serious damage to the transmission. On some specimens, the valve body fails early enough. Its repair costs $1,000. The all-wheel drive system presents practically no surprises. If the previous owner abused slippage on off-road driving, then the transfer case will need to be repaired on a run of 150 to 100,000 km. This model can be equipped with Boss air suspension and conventional. Cars with air suspension are more comfortable, but you have to pay dearly for this comfort in the truest sense of the word. The air suspension of the Audi Q7 is afraid of winter, slush and reagents, which we generously sprinkle on the roads. Under the influence of all these factors, the valves of the pneumatic struts and the compressor fail. The cost of replacing pneuma from the officials is equal to the cost of a good passenger car. The first problems with such a suspension can begin at 50,000 km. To extend the life of the air suspension, ask the craftsman to clean it at every maintenance. Bushings and stabilizer struts are considered consumables and live on average 30–50,000 kilometers. At 50,000 kilometers, steering tips begin to tap, while bearings live a little longer, 60–80,000 kilometers. Fans of driving around traffic jams along curbs often have to change ball joints. They change as an assembly with a lever. Stretching the rear suspension takes on most of the load. They have to be changed quite often, once every 50–80,000 kilometers. Some specimens suffer from latent disease, rapid wear of the rubber edge of the front wheels, wheel alignment, or air suspension adjustment. The disease cannot be cured. Otherwise, the suspension is strong enough and has a resource of up to 150,000 kilometers. The steering rack starts knocking closer to 100,000 kilometers of run. Dealers ask for $1,000 for a new one. Not the original can be found for $500 but you need to understand that the lines of its service can be 2 times less. You can also try to restore the rail, about $200, but it's hard to say how long it will last. The brake system of the car suffers from a Japanese disease, which is popularly referred to as wetted pedal, which negatively affects the braking dynamics of a car whose weight is 2,500 kilograms. In the interior of the Audi Q7, everything is very high quality, pleasant and beautiful. It feels like they worked on the design German specialists, not fired guys from the Skoda factory. But the reliability of electrical equipment raises a lot of questions from owners. So, for example, the owners blame the incorrect operation of the mirror adjustment lever, music adjustment key, and system power buttons. Also, the disadvantages include the rapid erasure of the designation of the buttons, which is unacceptable for cars of this class. Over time, crickets may appear in the cabin, in the area of U200B, U200B the roof and trunk, and it is very difficult to get rid of them. If you are the owner of this car model, please describe the problems that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your review that will help readers of our site when choosing a car.